ladies and gentlemen, to our podcast called Back on Track. Here we are with our hosts, Christian and Aaron. And I'm your host, Sergio. Hey guys, how's it going?
It's
There you go.
going pretty good. It's going
Pretty
good.
good.
Ready for this.
For those people who need to know, our podcast will cover solely sports such as NBA, NFL, and it may expand on to more sports as we go on. But let's stick to those two, and particularly the NFL. And you look at the last 2 weeks, and there's just been a lot of quarterbacks that have gone to different teams. And the really unique situation is in Chicago. You looking in a little closer at the situation in Chicago. Do you think Mitch Trubisky will ever be a good quarterback in this league?
I'm gonna disagree with Christian here. I really think he's gonna be. I can't really say he's gonna be a star. Yeah, but I mean, if you look at this guy only had 1 year in college. Um, he okay. I don't think he deserved to be the number two pick. The Bears did make a mistake there, and but that's a past. You can't change that. That's why they bring in Nick Foles this offseason, putting pressure on Mitch Trubisky to improve and just because he's never had this situation before. He's always been, the starter kind of role. Like he knew he was going to be the starter. It's not the same this year. I see him. He's 25 years old. This guy's young. He still has a bright future. I don't think necessarily he has to move teams to make that improvement. I think I see him this year coming up and really improving. The Bears have some picks uh, in the draft coming up. I say they take some linemen, offensive linemen, improve that O line, get him some protection. I say he wins the starting job, really improves some numbers, and gets the ball to all his wide receivers, Allen Robinson, Anthony Miller. Start the run game gets going, and that really helps him out a lot.
All right, so then now I'm gonna go and shift to Christian. Christian, what do you think about Mitch Trubisky?
I disagree about this. I believe it's going to be a Marcus Mariota, Ryan Tannehill situation in Chicago. And if you look up Mitchell Trubisky stats from last year, in QBR, he was number 28 out of 30 eligible quarterbacks. 28. So you could say he's going to improve, but how much is he really going to improve? And you got to look at how Chicago's defense is really good. Sure, they lost Leonard Floyd and HaHa Clinton Dix, so they're not going to be as good this year. But uh, they're they're not bad, and they're always on the field all the time last year. So that's why their defensive efficiency wasn't as good as the year prior.
Mhm. Okay, so maybe looking a little closer, do you guys, Aaron, do you think Mitch Trubisky would ever be maybe an all-star? Maybe get one of those, maybe an award or something? I mean, he was a number two pick, right? He could maybe one day just be good enough to get one of those. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't see it coming in right next year or in 2 years. It's gonna take a while because I feel like he has the potential. He has the skill set, and a lot of what I see when I see him play, it's that he lacks confidence, and so does the coaching staff. And if I was the Bears, I would not be very confident in him either after seeing his performance and the last couple years. But um, this I see with this um, competition in the QB room now. I see him really stepping it up and really, you know, seeing that he has to make an improvement because hasn't had that before. I
Yeah.
see him maybe winning an MVP, possibly in the next years. Yes, I see it. I
Are you
see it
sure?
coming.
Are you sure about that? This is the Chicago Bears quarterback, formerly Jay Cutler, now going to Mitchell Trubisky, and you're saying MVP? It's not in Chicago's blood. They've never had a good quarterback, and if they believe so heavily in him, they wouldn't have brought Foles in because they wouldn't have thought he was the guy. And Trubisky, look at his division. It's Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins ahead of him. Yeah, the Lions are not good, but the Packers made the playoffs this year, and the Vikings made the playoffs this year, and none of them drastically decreased or yeah, decreased. So you're telling me that Chicago is going to have to jump one or both of them to be able to make the playoffs. And I just don't see that happening. Aaron Rodgers has got a really good team, and the Bears didn't really improve all that much in the offseason. Look at their offense. They only got Jimmy Graham, and Jimmy Graham's kind of not been the same ever since he left New Orleans. Even in Seattle, he wasn't that good, really. So there's that. And you're talking about MVP. He was the bottom half of the league, and there was multiple games where he got benched for Chase Daniels. Chase Daniels, really? A career journeyman who's now on the Lions as a third-string quarterback. Like, MVP, no. Starter, maybe. We don't know yet. This is his year to prove it. And Matt Nagy needs to win now because he's been there for 3 years. He made the playoffs once, but he hasn't been in two out of the 3 years. So he has to improve. So he's always going to put the dude that can win now. And do you trust in Nick Foles or Mitchell Trubisky right now should be the more important question as to who's going to start this season.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think Mr. Trubisky, maybe he could be like that one day. He just needs to focus on right now, I guess. And I think you guys get some really valid points. But let's go ahead and let's go move to the NBA now, because obviously, they were the ones who kind of made the bold move to suspend the league, which then caused a domino effect. But moving on, let's just start with something really, really broad. Let's go ahead and let's do our all-time starting five. That So let's go ahead and let's start with Christian. Christian, who's your all-time starting five point guard? Just the one.
Just point guard, I'm taking Steph Curry, and you'll see why. This is the greatest shooter of all time. He's a great distributor, and he doesn't need to have the ball in his hands. He's excellent off the ball. Like, he's just the greatest shooter of all time. And yeah, some people could say Magic, but with my team that's coming up, we don't need necessarily another ball handler. We need a shooter, a spot-up shooter that can space the floor.
Okay, so you say Steph. Aaron, who's your point guard here?
Well, I don't think Steph is at that, best point guard ever yet. I mean, Magic has just been dominant ever since he played in the league. First round pick, 3 times final MVP, 12-time All-Star, 5-time champion. I mean, it's just that Curry had help. And Magic, he did have help too, but I just don't see Steph going over Magic right now.
Yep, Magic really has the accolades.
Right now.
Yeah, Magic has the accolades for sure to put a case in there as the best point guard. Aaron, let's stick with you. Who would be your shooting guard then? Alongside Magic?
Right here we have the best player of all time, Michael Jordan, and that's just, you can't really debate that. I'd say best shooting guard of all time.
Christian, are you
gonna?
Christian, are you gonna agree with him here? Are you gonna make a bold move?
I am gonna agree with you because he is the greatest player of all time. It's 1, and then 2 is LeBron. But Michael Jordan is one of the greatest clutch performers of all time. He led the Bulls to 6 titles, 6-0, never lost in the finals, never even got to a game 7 in the finals. As soon as he got Scottie Pippen, he swept not necessarily swept, but basically swept the entire Eastern Conference and in the finals with good competition as well.
Yep, MJ is a safe choice here for sure. But Christian, you did bring up LeBron, so who would be your number 3 with that in mind?
I am going to take LeBron James because I believe he's the second greatest player, and this is who I want my primary ball handler to be, because as good as LeBron is scoring, and he's really good at scoring, he's a facilitator at heart. Yes, he is. He's a facilitator. He averages more assists than what? He's going to hit Steph in that corner. And obviously, he's not the clutch player that Jordan is, but over the years, he has stepped up in that department. He didn't necessarily having it coming out of high school. Imagine that. He was coming out of high school. He didn't even go to college. Like, there's just no debating that he has to be in the starting lineup.
Yeah. I think LeBron has really showed his true colors as he's gotten older. You see him now, and I think he leads the league in assists, right? Before the hiatus, but yeah, LeBron definitely could be the prime ball handler for an all-time team. Aaron, who would you say would be your small forward then? You didn't look like you agree with him there.
I do agree with him on LeBron, but I just don't want him being my primary ball handler because LeBron, every time he tries to handle the ball, it's just he doesn't have that. I'd rather have him like open up and have someone else handle the ball. It's just I don't really see him as a primary ball handler.
Well,
He's
look at
but I do see him as a top. I'll agree. He's the second best player ever.
but also look at all the teams he's been on. With the Miami Heat, he was the primary ball handler on this. I mean, the point guard was Mario Chalmers, but you know who was on there. And there was on the Cavs, there was Kyrie, but still, LeBron often took that ball and took it over. In LA, who's gonna take it up? Rondo? No. They have LeBron there because he's the ultimate facilitator, and he will find the open pieces. He's one of the best passers to ever play the game, and unlike MJ. He's more of like a MJ with Magic Johnson. He's got both of their skills. Obviously, not as great as either, but he's in the mix of both of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think LeBron would definitely he would be up there with Magic. I think they would on the same team together. I don't really know how they would mesh, but I think they both definitely have similar traits, and I think they're both ball handlers. But let's go ahead and go with Christian. So we have our first three. Who would be your power forward here?
See, this is where I have LeBron as the ultimate facilitator. Aaron, you go.
Okay, so I'm gonna go at the 4. I'm going with Tim Duncan. I mean, it's just this guy, 5-time champion, 3 times Final MVP, 2-time NBA MVP, and it's just really hard. First overall pick too. I mean, it's just hard to like overtake that with anyone else.
Yep.
I want to see what Christian has. I just don't think anyone can top this right here.
Yeah, Mr. Fundamental is a safe choice. Christian, who would you go with then with your power
I'm gonna
forward?
go with Kevin Durant. And this is why Kevin Durant is one of the greatest scorers of all time. Not necessarily the best shooter, not necessarily the best player, but I believe he's the best scorer of all time. He has the chance to catch Kareem in terms of all-time scoring, and him and Steph already worked. They've already won 2 titles together. Him and LeBron. How are you gonna stop that? You're gonna put MJ on LeBron and who KD on Duncan? That's a mismatch. Duncan can't guard KD like that. Not on the perimeter, nothing like that. And KD's the ultimate shooter. So if LeBron, let's say, drives, KD's gonna be open. He's not missing. Steph's not missing. He's more of an all-around player, and he's the person I would want over Tim Duncan, even though Tim Duncan is the greatest power forward of all time.
Yeah, Kevin Durant definitely he's a certified bucket, for sure. He definitely has a lot of ways to score, and I would really trust him as a primary scorer, even on an all-time team. I think Kevin Durant could definitely lead the game in scoring if 2 all-time teams were to clash. So then let's go ahead and go to Aaron again. Aaron, who would be your center then?
My center, I'm gonna go with Kareem. I mean, all-time leading scorer, 6-time NBA title, 6-time NBA titles. His skyhook shot was unstoppable. It's just pretty hard to, top this guy too. It's just this guy is, he kind of just dominated, and I really don't see another center topping him at this position.
Yeah, Kareem definitely is up there. Yeah, I think he's the all-time leading scorer, so that'd be pretty hard to argue against. But Christian, you have a lot of options here. You have Shaq, you have Wilt, you have Akeem. Who would you pick here as your all-time center?
I'm gonna pick Shaquille O'Neal, and this is why. Yes, I know Kareem's all-time leading scorer and stuff, but you got to look at the era that he played. In the era that he played, who was playing? Obviously, there's great players, but not to the level that Shaq had competition against. Shaq, as soon as he went to Orlando, they were a title contender. LA, they were immediately a title contender. They won 3 titles with him and Kobe. And then even in his later years, he went to Miami. They won a title. Everywhere he goes, it seems like that team is a title contender. And in his prime, I don't believe there's anyone that could stop Shaquille O'Neal. And even though he wasn't in the best shape, he was very fast. He could guard anyone. And who is going to stop Shaq? Even though I don't think Kareem can. And that's no
Yeah,
disrespect to Kareem because he's probably the greatest center of all time. But I think Shaq, that would be a mismatch in terms of Shaq having the advantage.
Yeah, Kareem and Shaq would be an interesting match to see. Both really pretty different play styles. So then, with that being said, let me repeat your guys' lineup. Aaron, you have Magic, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Tim Duncan, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And Christian, you have Stephen Curry, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Shaquille O'Neal. So Christian definitely has more of a like a newer lineup than Aaron.
Uh,
Aaron's more old school. That is a good thing.
And
That
I
is
would
interesting though
say,
to see.
in terms of Aaron's team, he doesn't have that much shooting. Like Magic Johnson, he's not that great of a shooter. He never really was.
Post
He
him
can
up.
shoot. No, he's not posting anywhere. No, so you can put him. He can't shoot. Tim Duncan can't shoot. Kareem can't shoot. MJ can shoot, but he's not a pure shooter. That's not like what he does. Like, and LeBron, again, he can shoot, but he's not a pure shooter. I don't think there's enough shooting. With me, you got Steph Curry, he can shoot, and KD, and he's a sniper. He can pull it from 40 feet. He can do whatever it takes. As soon as Steph crosses half line, you have to start guarding him because he can just shoot that well. And with LeBron, with all those open lanes in the middle, I don't think anyone can stop it. As much as Tim Duncan and Kareem, they're good, and MJ, obviously, I don't think they could beat this team just because we're going to score a lot more than you. And there's no real
Aaron,
mismatches.
I see. Aaron, what do you think about your team then compared to Christian's?
In high school, my team is old school. They're gonna play dirty. They're gonna play hard. I think they just take these new guys out like nothing. They just break them. My guys are gonna play tough. I mean, it's just these. Come on, Magic against Steph.
Look,
I
Mhm.
mean,
that's but we can put more guys in the paint because you don't have any shooters. So we're obviously, if you're going to try to post it up, we can get a quick double over there. And also, I want to say one thing about Tim Duncan. Who knows how good he can be on a different team other than the Spurs? He was coached by probably or the first or second greatest NBA coach of all time. His
yeah,
entire career, he had a great supporting cast with Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, David Robinson. Like he had that supporting cast all the time, and he had one of the best coaches of all time. So we don't know how he would fit in a different system, and we don't know if he can guard the perimeter against Kevin Durant. That's why I would pick Kevin Durant more, and that's why I picked Steph Curry and Shaquille O'Neal.
Yeah, I think if you look at Aaron's team, I think they're definitely much more of a teamwork kind of team, while Christian's team is more of like a dominant, I guess. Like all the players are dominant in their own ways. And to think that Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant, that they were teammates in their prime, and for them to be in the all-time lineup is just crazy to think about. Um, let's go ahead and, I mean, if you guys want, we can go ahead and do a sixth man.
Yeah, we
All
get
right.
sick.
Yeah. Christian, who would be your sixth man then?
See, I was really debating on who I wanted. I could have taken Kobe Bryant because obviously Mamba mentality, one of the clutchest players of all time. You'd love to have him on your team. But I'm going to pick Hakeem Olajuwon. And he can play a power forward center position so that if KD, for instance, is getting bodied somehow by Tim Duncan, you put Kareem or Hakeem in there. Hakeem the Dream. Yeah, that's just all I got to say about him. That's all I need
Yeah.
to say.
And Aaron, you have Magic, MJ, LeBron, Tim Duncan, and Kareem. So who would be
yeah.
your sixth man here?
So I mean, you have to go with my top three player of all time, Kobe Bryant. 5-time champion, 18-time All Star, 15-time All NBA, one-time NBA MVP, two-time NBA Finals MVP. I mean, you can't top this guy. He did go 13th pick. I mean, but he's just unstoppable, in respect to this guy, because wow, what he did is incredible.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I just don't know if I want Kobe and MJ on the same team. And because they're so similar in how they play. They play such similar ways. I believe MJ is just a stepped up version of Kobe Bryant. He's just better than Kobe Bryant, obviously. So I don't know how they would mesh on the same team, that same mentality. As with Hakeem, he will fit right in. But I don't know how Kobe and MJ will respond to each other.
Mhm. Okay, let's go with one more question here. If you guys need me to repeat your lineups again, I will. But I mean, this game would be pretty good. Who would you guys pick here as the MVP of this game? Kristen, let's start with you.
I would say if it was with my team, I believe that it's going to be MJ because MJ's got that killer instinct, especially if it's close. MJ gets the ball no matter what team. Like he's going to get the ball, and he's going to make that clutch shot like he always does, like he did against the Jazz in the finals. Like he he's just the greatest player of all time. So I would say, a close second could be LeBron because he's going to stack up a ton of assists.
Mm-hmm.
With me, he's gonna hit Steph in the corner, or he's gonna hit KD. Like he's gonna rack up those assists, and obviously, if they're out there, the defenders can't collapse. So he's gonna drive every time. And LeBron's one of the best drivers of all time. How can you stop him 1-on-1? You can't. I don't think you can stop LeBron 1-on-1. With him, who's gonna stop him? Like MJ. MJ could guard him, but also LeBron's a lot bigger than MJ. I mean, I just don't know who else you would put on him unless you would put LeBron on LeBron, but I was not considering that. Like, no.
All right, so
that would be my case.
So then you pick a safe choice in Michael Jordan. Aaron, would you care to disagree, or are you going to go with him too?
I'm gonna disagree here. I'm gonna go with Tim Duncan because my team isn't gonna be shooting that many threes. We're gonna play more of a old school game. Obviously LeBron is gonna, like Christian said, he's gonna rack up the assists. He's gonna find the guys in the post, or even if it's outside in the perimeter. I have Tim Duncan and Kareem. They're gonna be both down there, and you can't guard both of those guys. I think Tim Duncan just takes on Durant and just puts on a show. Dances all over him.
Yeah, Tim Duncan though, but I got KD guarding. KD's 7 foot. He's got a 7'6" wingspan. You're acting like it would be easy for Tim Duncan to score on him. I don't know how easy that would be. And if I put my 6 man
in, Tim Duncan. So he's in the post, right? He can't get it up there. KD's right on him. Just dish it right to Kareem. Who's gonna get up to Kareem?
Shaquille O'Neal. Have you seen Shaquille O'Neal's vertical? Shaquille O'Neal's vertical is insane. I feel like you're underestimating Shaquille O'Neal and his presence in the paint. He was a paint stuffer. Like he was there all the time. And on offense, he just yam on anyone. LeBron throw it up to Shaq. Who stops that? No, I don't. I just don't think anyone can stop it with my spacing and with Shaq a dominant force in the post. I don't think any team can stop that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for Aaron's team, I would pick either Michael Jordan or LeBron, just because those are like the safest picks to pick. But I think overall in this game, I would actually go with Kevin Durant, just because Kevin Durant's a certified bucket. He has the most ways he can create a shot. He has just about unlimited range, next to Steph Curry, I guess. And I guess he is pretty clutch. I would actually give him the ball just because he has the most ways, like I said, to create a shot. And I think Kevin Durant would be the most likely one here to drop 30 in this game. So Kevin Durant would be my pick. I think it's interesting how we all had different picks for MVP. But do you guys have anything else to say?
I believe you should pick the tie. Who do you believe has the better team, and who do you believe would win in this team?
I'd love to pick. Shoot. So I think Magic and Steph. I think Steph would have a problem there with Magic. But overall, I just think Christian's team has way too much shooting. I think Steph would create more offense than his defense, accounts for. So, if Steph gives up 20, he would drop 30. So that's just the kind of player he is. I think, and with Kevin Durant, like I said, I'm a huge fan of Kevin Durant. I just think Christian's team would. I just think he has too much shooting, and in this new era that we have of 3-point shots and everything. I would go ahead and give it to Christian. Although Kobe, as a 6-man on Aaron's team, would be pretty lethal. So I think he would create some trouble, but I would go with Christian's team.
Sergio, you are a Thunder fan. You know what you know what Steph Curry did to your Thunder, but you also know what KD can do.
Like I said, yeah, I'm a huge KD fan.
Yeah.
No,
so
but
you know what?
Yeah. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. No, Yeah, I said, you know what Steph has done to you. You know what LeBron has done to you. Like, dude, Steph pulls up from anywhere. And
Mhm.
yeah, so that would be my team. And I know it would be Aaron's team. But I mean, anyone can decide the winner.
Yeah, I didn't mention. That I'm a Kevin Durant fan because then that would make me sound pretty biased. And I'm not being biased here. I just love Kevin Durant's game. He can score, with just about any way that anyone can think of. Uh, but yeah, I am a Thunder fan. But yeah, I would still pick your team though, just because of the shooting.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's all the time we have for today. Do you guys have anything else to say before we go ahead and go off?
All I say is I don't know how I feel about Mitchell Trubisky still. We'll see how he does. We'll see how he does. I predict that Nick Foles will be starting at least halfway through the year, and he will take the starting position for the entire rest of the season, and Trubisky will be benched.
Mm-hmm. And
Chicago
how about you?
Bears win Super Bowl with
Okay,
Trubisky. They
The
win the
bold
Super
pick
Bowl.
there.
They take it
it's
Super
home.
time
Bowl
to cut this
MVP,
off.
Mitch Trubisky.
It's time
All
to cut
right.
this off.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in, and make sure to stay tuned. Episode 2 is coming soon. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.